What's going on, Saints fans? In today's video, we're going to go through an updated look at the depth charts because the last time we did this exercise, 2025 draft, didn't happen. Some roster moves hadn't occurred yet. We didn't have any undrafted free agents. So now we're going to take an updated look at the 2025 Saints depth chart after the draft. So I want you to beat the books for me, though. Right now, the over-under is set at 5.5 wins for the total for New Orleans. What do you think is going to happen? Over or under? Type O for over, type U for under. I'm spamming my O's. What's happening, Who Dat Nation? Thank y'all so much for tuning into today's video. Shout out to everyone in the Golden Gang. If you're not a part of the Golden Gang, subscribe today and you will get that shout out. So let's just waste no more time. Let's get right into the depth chart. We're going to start off with the quarterback room. Obviously, Derek Carr, at the time of filming this video, Wednesday, May 7th at 4:30 p.m. Central Time. This was a part of our weekly live shows. Derek Carr is still on the roster as we speak. Post June 1, maybe that conversation is different. But for right now, he is on the roster. Tyler Shough is QB2, Spencer Rattler at QB3, and Jake Haener is the fourth quarterback. The Saints did cut Ben DiNucci a handful of weeks ago. So right now, you're rolling with 4 passers of the football. And right now, I do expect the Saints to cut Derek Carr. All roads are leaning towards that being the situation. I just don't see a world where Carr is the quarterback week 1. Colin even asked me before we started this video, is like, what percentage chance, if you had to guess, is Derek Carr on the roster? And what percentage chance is he the starter week 1? I said 5% he's on the roster week 1, 1% he's the starter week 1. So I expect the Saints to cut Derek Carr. I wouldn't be very, very shocked if they kept him. However, I think this is a move that will wait till post June 1st. Let's go to the running back group. Alvin Kamara, Kendre Miller. Those are your 2 lead backs. Jamal Williams was cut earlier in the offseason. Devin Neal, drafted in the 6th round of the 2025 NFL draft. And then you also brought in Velus Jones Jr., who offers positional versatility. He can line up as a running back. He can line up as a receiver. And he also has special teams ability. You got CEH, you got Jordan Mims, and then Marcus Yarns, the running back out of Delaware, was an undrafted free agent. And look, I think when it comes to the running back 2 position, there is some serious competition there. Devin Neal is not a stiff. He's not a bum. The fact that he fell to the 6th round is actually ridiculously insane. This is a player who had 3 straight seasons of 1,000+ rushing yards. He has all of the abilities and the tools to be a workhorse. He has all of the abilities to be a receiving running back as well. And so if Kendre Miller is not ready to go, if he's not prepared, if he's hurt, his roster spot and his position on the depth chart is very at risk. So I think that the running back 2 position battle is very, very real. It's very, very on. And at the end of the day, the winner is us Saints fans because we get the better back getting those snaps. Wide receiver, let's take a look there. Because in the pass catcher department, I don't think this is going to be the final look. I think you're actually going to add another wide receiver to this group. Chris Olave is the wide receiver 1. If he can stay healthy, I'm expecting a big season from him with Kellen Moore as the head coach. Brandon Cooks brought back in free agency. It's nice to see him back in the black and gold. A nice veteran, a speedster who can add some downfield ability to Rashid, the need for speed. Shaheed is a player I'm super, super excited to see. Season cut short last year due to injury, but I'm a big fan of number 22. Bub Means, do not sleep on that player right there. Moochie Dixon as well. And then you got Dante Pettis. He was brought back in free agency. And the New Orleans Saints also have Mason Tipton, who was an undrafted free agent last year. And then, of course, the Saints also have Chris Tyree, an undrafted free agent from this class. Now, I do think the Saints could look to add another wide receiver. Players that come to mind, Gabe Davis was recently cut. I think the days of him being a wide receiver 2 or 3 are past him, but a 6'2" wide receiver that is available nonetheless. Keenan Allen is another name to keep an eye out for. Amari Cooper, that's another name that could be signed, but don't sleep on the secret weapon. I made a full video about this. It's linked in the comments and description of the show. But Bub Means, 6'2", 215 pounds. Weirdly and eerily similar size profile and more athletic and more explosive than A.J. Brown, according to the pre-draft measurables and the combine results. In very limited snaps last year, Bub Means was a nice contributor. His name got called whenever the Saints wide receiver group started being decimated by injuries, and I think he made the most of his limited opportunities. I'm really, really, really pumped up to watch Bub Means this season. Now, lock us into Saints Now by Chat Sports to stay updated on all things black and gold. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. We're chipping away every single video. Can we get 50 people to join the Golden Gang today? Who knows? Help me out. Subscribe for daily Saints videos by fans, for fans. Let's go to the tight end group. This is an interesting squad here. Now, Foster Moreau, he suffered a knee injury in the final 2 minutes of the season last year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was carted off the field. Recently seen working out with Tyler Shough. He had a knee brace on his knee, so he's moving around. He's on his feet. That's a good sign there. That being said, he did suffer an injury at the very end of last season. We have yet to see if he's fully ready to roll. Taysom Hill also dealing with a serious knee injury. Not sure when he's going to be available to return, but Juwan Johnson is a player I'm really excited about this year. You also brought in Jack Stoll. You drafted Maliki Madavao. Dallin Holker is still around, and then you got Trayton Welch and Michael Jacobson on the depth chart as well. And look, I'm going to just hone in on Juwan Johnson here. The Saints need to maximize him. They need to get the most out of Juwan Johnson. Part of that is on the New Orleans Saints and the coaching staff in terms of scheming plays up for him. Part of that is on the quarterback, whoever's throwing the pill. But also a big, big, big part of that is on the player. Put it together all season long. Be a consistently good and reliable target. Prove why you got a 3-year, $30 million contract. It's not a super outlandish deal. And look, if he puts up good production, that contract immediately becomes a massive, massive steal. So let's go now to the trenches where the money is made. Shout out to the big boys, fatties only. I love me some offensive linemen. Kelvin Banks, I actually think will be the starting left tackle. And then I think you kick Talese Fuaga back to his natural position at right tackle. Last year, Trevor Penning, he took over as the right tackle. Talese Fuaga was the left tackle. I think that they just switch back. And then Penning can be a swing backup tackle for whoever needs it. I do think Dylan Radins will be the starting guard, but you also have the ability to go, let's say, Fuaga and Penning as your tackles, and then maybe it's Kelvin Banks at the left guard spot, or maybe it's Banks and Fuaga with Penning at the guard spot. So, my point being, I'm just really curious how this offensive line is going to shape up. There's a lot of different routes that Kellen Moore could go with this group, and the big, big thing for me here is I think that this is actually a nice situation for the offensive line. They're very young. The Saints have invested a lot of premium draft capital in the trenches, especially on the offensive line of the offensive side of the football. And if the Saints offensive line can stay healthy and can live up to expectations, that is a really, really good unit for the foreseeable future. And I get it. The sexy picks have not been made over the last few seasons in round one, but we finally might be able to reap those benefits and see exactly why the Saints invested in the offensive line and in the trenches. Now, I want to give a shout out to Prize Picks before we get to the defensive side of the football. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup, whether it's points, rebounds, assists. Take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your guacamole. Now, I don't know too much about the hardwood. I'm not much of a basketball guy, and hoops is not my specialty, but I'm a big, big football guy, and I'll tell you what, I got some season-long projections cooked up for you. We're going to speak it into existence. This is finally going to be the year the Chiefs start to have a regression in this. It's going to finally be the year Patrick Mahomes has a bad year. I'm tired of it. We're prize picking it into existence, Colin. Taking the less on Patrick Mahomes. I'm also going to take the less on Saquon Barkley. Kellen Moore is no longer there. The Eagles offensive coordinator who made that offense so great, who coached all of the talent, he's in New Orleans. So I'm taking the less on Saquon. And I also think DK Metcalf could actually hit the more, especially considering the Pittsburgh Steelers just traded away George Pickens. Are you kidding me? You better beat the books here. You better go and beat Prize Picks because I know that number is going to change. So if you want to fade my picks, if you want to tail my picks, I don't care what you do. Just make sure you do it with Prize Picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday and Flex Friday. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the bonus. It's guaranteed. Shout out to Prize Picks. Run your game. All of that information is in the comments and description of this video. Now, the 5-man front is the offensive line group that I think we'll see most of. However, you also will see a 4-man front. Brandon Staley and Bo Davis are going to be implementing a new look and a new scheme along the defensive line. And here's how the 5-man front, in my opinion, will shake out. You traded for Devon Godshaw. He's going to be your starting nose tackle, a really nice run stopper that'll, command a lot of attention in the middle of the field. Carl Granderson and Chase Young, I think, are going to be your 2 outside edge rushers, with Brian Brzee and Cam Jordan being the interior defensive ends, if you will. But then you got guys like Isaiah Foskey who could potentially really benefit from this new scheme and this new team, or this new look defense. Vernon Broughton was a draft pick by the New Orleans Saints. And then, of course, you also had a handful of drafted free agents. You signed Chris Rumph. You brought in Jonah Williams, among some other players too. And like I already said, the Saints will have different looks along the defensive line. You'll look at some 3-4. You'll look at some 4-man fronts. You'll look at 5-man fronts. You'll see a lot of different things. The Saints defense is going to be more modern. It's going to be more it's going to be more set, and it's going to be more, I'm sorry, what was it? Multiple. That's the perfect. It's going to be more multiple. That's the word I'm looking for. And what I mean by more multiple is it's going to be able to stop the run. It's going to be able to put pressure on the passer. It's going to be able to, defend deep, defend up close. You're going to have different looks for different situations and different scenarios. And I think that this defensive coaching staff is really going to be able to unlock all of that and make it happen. Let's go to linebackers now. Pete Werner, Demario Davis, those are going to be your starting 2 linebackers. Again, this is also kind of, along the lines, if you're doing you got your 5-man front, and then you got a couple linebackers, and then you got a couple 5 DBs or 4 DBs. Like, I think it's just going to be depending on what it is. But Pete Werner, Demario Davis, they will be on the field just about every snap. Danny Stutsman will be getting a lot of action as well. I think DeMarco Jackson should take another step this year. But a player I'm actually excited to watch is Anthony Orji as well. I'm a big fan of his game, and he's a friend of the show, trying to get him onto the program sometime. So, Anthony, if you're watching, hey, hit me back, brother. Let's get you on the program. Jalen Ford was a 5th-round pick last year, and Isaiah Stallbird was a free agent, or an undrafted free agent they added last year as well. But then you also have Tyreen Powell as an undrafted free agent this year. So in terms of the linebacker group, Pete Werner, you better watch your back because Danny Stutsman is waiting in the shadows. I am so pumped up to watch the Oklahoma Sooner. The OU product is a very exciting player. He plays with a lot, his hair on fire. He plays with a lot of swagger, a lot of intensity. He plays with a lot of energy. He is a hard-hitting machine. He's a linebacker that rocks the neck brace. So you know what that means, Colin. It means he's a little bit crazy in the best ways possible, and that's the kind of player that I want in the linebacker group. So Pete Werner, I think, could be pushed and challenged for one of the lead linebacker roles, especially with Demario Davis. His career will end at some point, despite him aging like fine wine every single year. It seems like he gets just more and more fit every offseason. It's insane. I'm excited to watch Danny Stutsman. That was one of my favorite picks in the entire draft class. I'm so pumped up to watch this guy play. Let's look at the cornerbacks. Isaac Yiadom. He is back in New Orleans. Kool-Aid McKinstry in year 2. I cannot wait to see what he is capable of. And Alante Taylor, I think, will be the starting nickel. And as of right now, I know you're looking at it and you're probably thinking, what the hell? Why is Quincy Riley not a starter? Well, because I think walking into training camp, Isaac Yiadom is your starting corner. But I think that it's not too far out there to say at the end of training camp, maybe it's actually Quincy Riley. You also have Rico Payton. You have Ugo Amadi. You have Trey Flellen. You have Rajon Wright, the Last Chance U legend. And then you got Dallas Barnum, who was signed as an undrafted free agent as well, who does offer special teams versatility too. Goodness gracious. Tongues getting twisted left and right. The cornerback room is very young and very exciting. There's a lot of nice talent. There's a lot of players that you can get very excited about. Alante Taylor is an extremely disruptive defensive back. I am a big, big fan of Uno. I am really pumped to watch another year of Kool-Aid McKinstry, and I think Quincy Riley is going to be a fan favorite very quickly in New Orleans. But I do have to say this, I am nervous. There's not a lot of experience there. There's not a lot of veteran talent there. Pretty much it's just Isaac Yadam. It's very, very young, which is exciting, and it's nice, and that's what it needed to be, but I am nervous. I would like to go and add another corner. I have a name in mind, and it's Asante Samuel Jr. I don't know how he's still available. Injuries are what seems to be the issue with there, and so maybe the Saints can get him on a pretty cheap contract. Who knows? But what do you guys think? Would you sign Asante Samuel Jr.? Type S for sign, type P for pass. Let me know in the comment section. I'm all in on doing this. I think it would be a really smart deal, especially if you can make it for a relatively cheap contract considering the injury. Let's go to the safety room. Justin Reid, in my opinion, one of the best additions the Saints made this offseason. I don't know why they did it. I don't know how they did it. I don't know why Justin Reid agreed to come back home. But I can tell you right now, I'm super, super grateful that he did. Pairing him back up with Tyrann Mathieu for the third time in their career will be very fun to watch. You got Jordan Howden. You got Jonas Sanker, who you drafted early in the 2025 NFL draft class, and Millard Bradford. They called him Nuke back at TCU. He's back with the New Orleans Saints. JT Gray, one of your special team, or your special teams ace. Let me just say this. Safety group, I think, is very underrated. Do not sleep on the safety group. Justin Reid is still in the middle of his prime. Tyrann Mathieu, sure, he's getting older. The production's going down. He's losing his step. Those are all very true. But he's a very intellectual player, and he's a player with very high instincts, and he can rely on those to still put him in position to succeed. And he is a guy who's a great communicator, great leader, and I think that he has a really nice role ushering in the young generation of safeties, while Justin Reid can kind of take over the veteran presence when Tyrann Mathieu's on the way out. I think that they set the safety group up really, really nicely, especially when you have Jonas Sanker and Jordan Howden in the mix as well. I think it's a really, really good setup. Hey, I mean, we went offense, we went defense, so I guess that's all right. No. Special teams, special plays, special players. Let's kick it over to the special team side of the football. Blake Grupe, he's your starting kicker. I don't anticipate much change there. Maybe Charlie Smith can unseat him, but for what it's worth, they do get an extra roster spot because Charlie Smith isn't a part of the International Pathway Program from Ireland, so he does not actually take up an extra spot on the practice squad. Matthew Hayball out of Vanderbilt, he was the punter last year, but he struggled mightily, especially down the stretch. However, he did limit returns, so James Burnap, the undrafted free agent out of Alabama, he's like over 6'2" or 6'3", something. It's unbelievable. He's huge. He could literally be a tight end if you wanted him in an emergency situation. Zach Wood, long snapper, no changes there. Oh, also for what it's worth, I think James Burnap has a very real chance to win this punter battle. And then Rashid Shaheed is your starting punt returner. He's your starting kick returner alongside Kendre Miller. But then you have Dante Pettis and Cedric Wilson as potential punt returns, as well as other guys like Dallas Bainham, Velus Jones Jr., and other players on the roster. And look, the rookies across the board, the draft picks, the undrafted free agents, they all have special teams versatility. And the same thing with a guy like Velus Jones Jr., same thing with guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So there are ways for some of these guys to carve out a spot on the roster. Will they do it? I don't know. Like I said about the punter situation, I do think James Burnap will win the punter battle. I think Matthew Hayball is on his way out. And this will be 3 years in a row where the Saints sign an Australian punter as an undrafted free agent, and that Australian punter takes over as the starting punter for the Saints in the regular season. So there you have it. Colin, 20-minute video. We went through an entire depth chart. Rate the Saints roster for me, Madden style, 1 to 99. And if you guys haven't already, subscribe to Saints Now by Chat Sports. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.